It was born out of a combination of the suicidal and homicidal tendencies.
Oh, God.
I made Johnny Suede, my first film. It took about 3.5 years to get the film made. Maybe longer, 4 years. It was picked up by Miramax and played in New York for 1 week. I hated the business. I hated everything about it. I didn't want to talk to actors. Somebody came up to me and said, you know, I'm doing a movie. I felt like saying, fuck you. I went to a wedding, and out of this haze, at this wedding, was about 300 miles away from here, some guy drifts up in front of me, and he goes, hey, Tom, what are you doing here? And it was some guy who was in an acting class that I had taken about 8 years earlier. And he said to me, God, you're so lucky, Tom. You made a movie. You know, lights, camera, action, all that, you know. Well, that third martini was really what, you know, what did it for me. And I just went, listen, let me tell you something about making a movie. You can be right in the middle of the scene. There you are. You got an actress that really is all ready and primed to do a scene. And all of a sudden, you know, the camera screws up. Then what? Okay, if you're lucky, the actress can do it again. Well, what happens if it happens again? And I went, and that was the idea for the film. I gave that guy so much credit that I put him in the movie. He is the guy that runs around hitting the sticks.
Scene 6, take 1.
Bert, get the hell out of there!
So that was the origin of the basic idea, and it was literally a half an hour idea. I said, you know, I just need to do something. I need to put this energy into something, and coincidentally, Catherine Keener was staying at our apartment at that time. I showed it to her. She went in the back room. You know, all I could really remember was just hearing her cackling. You know, and and somehow the first thing she said was she gave it to her husband, Dermot. Dermot said he wanted to put up $5,000, you know, if he could play the director. I said, no. But I want your $5,000. And I gave him the part of Wolf, the cameraman. And he, you know, I mean, to this day I give him credit. He was the one who said, just like that, he said, let's get Steve for the director.
That's beautiful, man. That's great.
I know from the diary that Steve accepted the part in the short without reading the script. Why?
I can't read. I've known Tom for many years. He used to come see the shows that I used to do with fellow actor and writer Mark Boone Jr. We used to do a lot of shows in the East Village. Tom was an early supporter of our work, used to come and see the shows. I was already a big fan of his work. And he said that he was doing a short film, and I just liked the people involved. It was a very short commitment.
5 days.
5 days, and I said, well, why not? You know, it's, and then I read it, and I was really, really pleased that he wanted me to play that role. And at the time, I was trying to get my first film, Trees Lounge, off the ground. Wasn't having any luck. And I thought how great it is that I could at least play a director if I can't really be one. But I had actually just directed I had made a short film. And so I actually did have...
Something about Pete?
Yeah, it was called What Happened to Pete.
Yes.
So I actually did have a little bit of experience directing a film. And so it was great to put that experience into the role. People ask me, who did I base the character on? You know, what director did I work with that I based it on? And I didn't base it on anybody except myself. You know, I just remember how frustrating it is to direct. You know, it's one of the hardest things that you'll ever want to do.
In a matter of 2 weeks, my wife raised $37,000. Any actors that I knew that wanted parts put money up, and they got parts in the film. The boom guy. My wife was my wife's trainer at the time. And the guy was just hilarious. I loved him. He said he put up $2,000.
Do you have price list for next movie? I saw,
Price list?
yes.
Yes.
It's somewhere on
sorry.
internet, I hope, right?
Could you just bring your credit card up here?
My question is, this kind of movie is probably very difficult follow script. It probably was a lot of improvisations and
You're wrong.
yeah, how many times I was wrong?
There was very little what I would call, traditional improvisation in this. However, when you work with an actor like Steve, he can take a scene, and I don't say to him, hey, do it like this. So that the way Steve would do a scene is literally improvising it, because he finds his own meaning for it. There was one scene that was completely improvised, and it happened by accident. The script was written word for word, except for one moment, and at the end of, what is that beeping sound? At the end of part one, the script said, Nick Rev goes crazy, right? And he screams. And so there I was. I said, okay, I was doing this. I wanted to get a reaction shot of the crew responding to Nick going crazy. We had already shot Steve kind of lifting up the cushion, I think, because that's what we said that was in the script, looking for the beeping sound, right? Right. So then I said, let's shoot the crew. I said, Steve, just, stand here right behind the camera, right? And just say whatever you want. Say whatever you want to the crew, because I want to get some real reactions. Those are some of the toughest shots to get in a film, when you need people to react. And really, the only way to get it is to give the actor something to react to. So I said, Steve, say it and do whatever you want. Well, he just went off.
Can somebody help me, please? Huh? Do I have to do everything myself here? Cora? Why don't you go learn your lines, Cora? Hey, script! How about paying attention a little bit there, okay? Hey, focus puller. I got some good tie stick. You want to go fucking smoke one, or you want to pay attention here? What are you laughing at, Wolf? You fucking pretentious beret-wearing motherfucker. Hey, I saw your reel, man. It sucked. Fuck would hire you anyway. Hey, Bob! Hey, Bob! Can you make a little noise on the fucking dolly? Huh? You creaky motherfucker. Wanda, next time, can you wear a shirt that's a little bit more distracting to my actors? What is your name, anyway? What do you fucking do around here? Hey, Speedo, you can't find a little fucking beat? Huh? You see what I fucking have to deal with here, Nicole? Maybe do some of that magic on camera? No, wait till fucking Wolf is puking his guts out. Oh, now I'll be good.
That's the joy of this kind of filmmaking. When it works that way, there's nothing like it. I'm telling you, it is better than any drug I've ever taken. I'm totally serious when you see that, because that was a genuine, creative moment. And you know what? I'm sorry, that's what it's about.
Like Tom said, it was just, we just had so much fun making the film. And by the end, the fourth or fifth day, we were just begging Tom to expand it.
No one wanted to leave. And I said, oh man, yeah, this was fun, but what am I going to do with this movie? Most film festivals take films that are at the most, short films, that are at the most 5 to 10 minutes long. There is no place to show a half-an-hour movie, no place. And that's when I began to really think, well, Jesus, if I'm ever going to show this movie anyplace, I'm going to have to make a feature out of it.
And it took about 8 months or so before we filmed parts 2 and 3. And it was tough because I had, the long hair in the film, and it was tough to keep it that long for that many months. I guess it meant that I was out of work for the, But it was getting to the time where I needed to take another job, and it was great that the next job was Tom's film.
Here I was, I'd finished the screenplay, and Steve was about to get another job. This was part of the agony of this. Dermot was about to get another job, and there's time. There's the whole element of when people are available to shoot. And I had met this guy, this crazy guy. I don't even know how I met him, but he said that, you know, he was going to put up $300,000 because he really wanted to be a producer. He wanted to really get in there and, make his mark as a producer, be involved in the casting and this and this and this. And I was going, Christ, this is the last guy that I want to, have around. But he called me and, he says, come on out. I want you to come out to LA and we'll sign this deal. And literally, I was on the phone with the guy, and my call waiting clicked in, and it was my wife's cousin, the woman whose wedding we had been to, who I actually cast her in the film. She is the script girl.
Cue for the original blocking is professional.
And her husband at that time was Speedo, the sound man. And it was Speedo on the phone. And he said, hey, Tom, listen, I don't know, please don't take this funny. And I got this other guy on the other line, and he says, please don't take this funny, but I don't know, Hillary and I were thinking, I mean, would you mind if we put up the money for the movie? I said, are you serious? Her father had just died and left her some money, and she said, let's put it into the film. I had the rare privilege of being able to go, hold on one second. You know what you can do with that offer, pal? I don't want it. And I hung up on that guy, and that's how we made the film, with her money.
In the first sequence, the older actress mentions, like, after a light breaks or something, this is the last low-budget film I'm ever working on. I guess this is more of a question for Steve. I mean, someone who's acted in over 70 films. I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about the differences in working in a big budget film as opposed to an independent film, and also does that factor into your decision? I mean, I assume you get a lot of scripts and a lot of choices, and how much does that factor into it?
I mean, some choices are made just because if I need a job, if I need to pay the rent and bills and stuff, then you sort of look for the scripts that will pay that. But they almost every one that I've done where I made money were just not half as interesting as the ones that were very low pay. And it helps Tom to go to a financer and say, well, we have this actor. Well, what's he done? Well, he did Armageddon and he did Con Air. And, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. We know him. But for me, the best, my best roles have always been in independent films. I consider this role one of, my favorite roles. And, if this movie were made by Hollywood, I would not have been cast.
When you have, at the end, it all kind of works out. Isn't that somewhat of a Hollywood ending?
It's total Hollywood. I'm a Hollywood guy. I don't know if you can tell.
But you were saying you hate Hollywood. You're saying you hate Hollywood.
Oh, no, I'm just bullshitting you. I'm totally Hollywood.
So you're full of shit.
Exactly. You're right. No, listen, let me tell you something. Come on. Can you go through this whole film and have all of this agony without something working at the end?
True.
Oh, well, yeah, of course it's true. Plus, no, that's why I wrote it. Otherwise, I would not be, I would have committed suicide, 10 years ago. I needed to get to that moment that I just described, which is, well, yes, sometimes through happy
It
accidents.
was personal pleasure.
Yes. Yes. That's what it's about. Otherwise we wouldn't do it. And that was I said to myself, well, it has to end on something that at least keeps them going.
Every moment you run into someone who does know this film, the instant smile flashes on this face. And this is a smile of gratitude, of understanding, of recognition of something. And this smile, I would say, a no less gratifying thing for an artist, for artists. as, say, Academy Award. In a way, is even more so. So we're very grateful, and we have a lot of respect for this difficult road and for movies like that that got made despite of everything, and they are alive, they're out there. We don't need millions, we don't need a Blair Witch Project audience for this film. We don't need that many people, because not that many people can appreciate it. The audience of 8.5 is a small audience. The audience of Living in Oblivion is a small audience, but it is a good audience. And a big part of this small audience is here today. So thank you for coming, and thank you. Thank you.